Hi there, how are we all doing today? I hope you're all well. Did we have anything interesting for lunch? A donut? Wow, that's very nutritious. I'm very jealous. Um, okay. I hope that we're all good and that we're all ready and as pumped as I am to start today's lesson. I reckon you guys are going to love it. So, in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about siege warfare, why it happened, different strategies that we see throughout history in siege warfare, as well as also getting you to design your own siege warfare strategy with justification and reasoning behind it. On the board here, I'm going to be writing the learning objectives and the success criteria that you can use as a sort of guide in order to make sure that you're on the right track. And by the end, we should have all achieved the success criteria. In my class, if you have a question, please raise your hand and don't yell out. You'll be chosen to talk when there's time for it. Sorry. There are no wrong answers in my class. As long as you have justification and reasoning behind it, then any answer goes. And all work must be submitted by a certain time so that we're all up to the same level. And so that no one's getting extra time, no one's lacking behind. Those of you who are able to meet today's success criteria at the end of the lesson will be awarded with a gold laurel leaf crown. So make sure that you're paying attention and that you get all the work done. Before starting with the lesson, I wanted to have a go with this activity. Here we have a castle, and if you were the attacking army, how would you go about attacking it and to take the castle? And what are your reasonings and justifications behind it? If you want to, you can explain it by writing it down, answering out loud, or using diagrams and drawings. Wow, this is actually a great idea. I love the diagram explaining your strategy, and your reasoning behind it is very solid. Well done. Okay, that sounds interesting. What is your reasoning behind that? Are there any other ways you can think of which will make the strategy more effective? I'll give you some time to think about it while we move on to the next student. Okay, thank you all so much for your ideas. We've had some really creative ones, and I'll get you to complete a worksheet now where you're going to be working with your peers to give each other feedback and have a respectful discussion about how you came to those conclusions. Okay, now that we've all completed the worksheet, let's all sit in our chairs and face the board, and we'll have a deep dive into the real historical examples of siege warfare. Sieges historically took place for a huge amount of reasons, one being to take a city or castle in order to have more access to trade routes, or being to have more access to more land. There are a variety of reasons, but today we're going to be looking at the Siege of Harfleur, which occurred in 1415 when the English took a French castle by simply surrounding the castle and stopping food and water from getting in. After which the French surrendered, and the English, who didn't do much fighting, actually had a lot of losses because of disease. And so today we're going to be looking at using the cause and effect cycle, the process, to use as a justification for why we've come up with why certain things occur in history and those sort of things, which you're going to be using in your final activity. Now, looking at this example, give me another reason in your own words what would be the cause and effect of this example. Okay, that was great. What you were using as a reference, I understand what you're using as a reference for your answer, but remember there can be multiple causes and multiple effects. Remember to analyze the cause first and then look for the effects related to the cause. Yes, that's perfect. Another reason for the French surrender was lack of a garrison. Good job. All of you did great. Thank you for all sharing your ideas. We're really making good progress, and remember, there are no bad ideas as long as there is reasoning or justification behind it. Okay, so now I will all ask you to come up with your own strategy. How would you siege this castle as shown in the picture? You can write a plan, draw a diagram, or even design a mechanical machine which will help you achieve your goal of taking the castle. Remember to use the cause and effect thinking cycle and justify your reasoning as to why you chose this strategy. Okay, this is definitely a creative strategy, but remember we have to analyze the cause and effect. How exactly will you achieve this, and what would be the realistic outcome? Remember, there are more ways to take a city than just to attack it head on. There are lots of factors at play, and lots of causes you can play around with. This is still on the right track though. I'm loving where this is going. I see you have genuine reasoning for deciding that. Well done. The use of restricting water supply into the city is a really good idea and has a huge basis in historical sieges. Attacking the walls directly isn't always the best of ideas. It is shown quite a lot in movies and TV, but based on historical examples, you could lose a lot of soldiers doing something like that. So I would recommend a way to prepare before attacking the walls. Wow, okay. Thank you so much for everyone for submitting such well thought out strategies. There are genuinely some really interesting and unique approaches. Now, what have we learned in today's lesson? Yes, that's right. We have learned about the cause and effect process in observing historical sieges and events in general. Can someone describe to me the example we went over? Perfect. Well done and very well explained. Good job. What are some reasons sieges took place in history? Wow, you guys are on fire today. Everyone who has demonstrated the success criteria in today's lesson is going to receive a laurel crown, and that's basically everyone. So I'm incredibly proud of you all. Thank you.